Hey guys, it's Jason Webb. This is the show that highlights local business leaders and the movers and shakers of Minnesota. Welcome to Minnesota Made. What's up, Minnesota? It's Jason Webb. I'm in Delano, Minnesota, sitting with my friend Sam Rosen, and we're at the company Solar Plastics, and you have another company on the backside,
Fluid All,
okay? And we just got done with the tour, and my initial impression of that tour was it's very unique. It's a plastics manufacturing company, but you have equipment back there that I've never seen before. And it's not the typical employee standing behind the machine and pushing a button. They're getting after it. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Our
guys work really hard.
Yeah, it looks like it. And 75-year anniversary, congratulations to that. And we were talking a little bit about your role within the company and how you started off in sales over here like 7 years ago.
Yep.
And now Sam is the big cheese. He's the president. Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you.
So let's start off, I guess, talking a little bit about you. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this on video, you got some of the products behind us that they produce here. And I've seen a lot of Yeti Coolers going through the production line over there. And it's pretty cool to see. Now, you don't have the giant one that you can put 3 dead bodies in, but
not on display, but we do make the big commercial coolers also.
How big is that one?
The biggest is it's called a 350, which I think means 350 quarts.
Yeah.
I think is what it stands for. But yeah,
it's huge.
Yes, it is.
Legit. I could lay down in there and still have room.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay, Sam, you are the president of the company. Let's talk about where you came from, where you grew up.
Yeah.
Kind of your career path that you took to become president of Solar Plastics.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, if you said was I going to be making really uniquely shaped big plastic things, I would never have predicted that.
Right.
I'm not very mechanically inclined. The joke around here is I'm always the least technical guy in every meeting we have, which is okay. We have some fabulous engineers and quality and operations experts.
So that's your weakness, is the technical side, and so is the strengths maybe the people side? I mean, when I walked in here, I was waiting a little bit of a wait for you.
Sure.
I mean, just a couple minutes, and there's a guy out there talking about how he likes working here.
Well, that's
right?
great. Yeah. No, my focus personally is creating an atmosphere where people can be successful and really making sure that everybody likes to win. I like to win. I want to create an environment where everyone can feel like they're going to win.
Yeah.
They know what winning looks like. They feel like they have the tools. They feel like they can speak up if there's an obstacle.
Yeah.
And that's really important. From a cultural standpoint, kind of how I try to help lead the organization. We've got our list of core values, and the one that I think everybody's got core values. I think one of ours though is a little bit unique. We talk about authenticity. Being authentic as a core value, and it's really something that I foster. I think our leadership team fosters. There's no politics. There's no bureaucracy. Everybody can speak up. We're on the floor. You see, talking to the guys. They'll come up to me and say, "Hey, this is an issue. What can we do about this?" Yeah. When we're in meetings, everyone feels like they can argue. Right? I don't have all the answers. I make that very clear. Right. It's not just a line. I really don't have all the answers.
Yeah, it's not a dictatorship. You want feedback.
And that's what I mean by I'm not the technical guy. So people, I need them to come with solutions. I need them to come with ideas for us to be successful.
Right.
So I think you said, how did I get here?
Yeah, where did you grow up?
I grew up right in the Twin Cities in New Hope, Minnesota, and I'm a Minnesota kid, born and raised. I've traveled all sorts of crazy places around the world for work, and I joke that if there's an airport in North America, I've probably been there.
Wow.
But I've lived right in a very small little circle in the western suburbs my whole life.
Yeah.
So I grew up there. Did my undergrad at the University of Minnesota Carlson School of Management.
Nice.
In marketing, and really wanted to be in kind of a sales and marketing type career, was what I thought I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But my first job out of college was a different direction. I worked for Target Corp as an analyst.
Target?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which really,
Analyst?
yeah.
That doesn't sound like sales.
No, it wasn't. It was, I would say it was the job that would pay me the most to not move out of the Twin Cities. It was not well planned, but it was a great training ground. It was a great company. I learned a ton.
Yeah.
Really honed a lot of those analytical skills.
Okay.
Learned about the supply chain side, being in their merchandising and buying office, and was there for about 4 years. And really wasn't sure that really big corporate was the right fit. Want to do something smaller, and a coworker had an idea to start a company. He was in product development, and I said, yeah, let's do it. I'm young and let's try something. And so we quit and started a little company, basically working with international manufacturers that he had relationships with, helping them sell products back into U.S. retailers. So it was a wild ride for a couple years. We worked with some of the largest, I think it was the largest stainless steel cookware manufacturer in the world, in southern China. It was one of our clients. We helped them sell private label cookware into large retailers all over the U.S.
So this was an idea, a business idea of you and your friend.
It was his idea, yeah.
His idea.
And I had a chance to join, and we did it for a few years, and it was a really good run, and got some great. That was kind of how I transitioned from how do you go from Carlsson and retail into manufacturing. So did that for a few years, and then we parted ways, and had an opportunity with LDI, Liberty Diversified, another great Minnesota manufacturer. And they were really looking for someone to help with the growth and expansion. Really, they were at the time looking for a lot of international type of expansion ideas. So I was there for a number of years in a lot of different roles. That's where a lot of my continued travel came. It was a great company. Had a chance to get into business in Europe and product development, and how do you acquire companies in different parts of the world and blend them together. Tremendous opportunity, and a great company. You should have someone from them on your podcast.
Yeah, I should.
Great Minnesota manufacturer.
And what was your role in that company again?
I had some different roles. I worked kind of in corporate and more of a strategic role, working with the divisions. I spent time, they'd acquired a healthcare company that was based in Europe. I spent time helping to run that business. Spent time doing some marketing in their paper and packaging group. So I kind of had a number of different roles in my years there.
Yeah.
And
so you've been all over the world, flying and working.
Yeah. Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time in China with the previous thing?
I spent a lot of time in China. Spent a lot of time in Copenhagen. That was where one of the plants that I worked a lot with was, and great area. So I got to see a lot of the world, which was cool. But that was a young guy's game. As I got older and had kids, I needed to find something that was a little bit. The travel schedule was a little less. That's just through networking and through a recruiter. Found an opportunity at Solar Plastics.
Okay.
At the time, it was still family owned, and I think we did about $17-18 million in revenue. They were looking to grow the business and look for new customers, new market opportunities, and so that's when I joined. And we really had some great opportunities since then, and I've had a great team. And have grown the business significantly from that point. So this year, depending how it all shakes out, somewhere in the $56 million.
Wow. 7 years.
It's been a good run, and a lot of growth. And I think really by kind of what we offer, there's a lot of rotomolders in North America. Most of them are really small. These little kind of mom and pop shops, and I think we've always really focused on kind of the leading edge of technology, looking at new materials, looking at how to kind of raise the bar, do more difficult things. Sometimes, let's say from the leading edge to the bleeding edge, we've sometimes gone a little bit to the wrong side of trying things that were more difficult than we imagined them to be. But really trying to stretch those boundaries, and I think companies like Yeti, some of these large Fortune 100 companies that come to us for fuel tanks and diesel tanks, DEF tanks, things like that. Value that and know that there are not a lot of those 425 molders. There's maybe a handful who are even willing to do the type of parts that we do. And so that's been a really big part of our growth, is looking at it that way and kind of going for that expansion.
So as you were talking there, you mentioned you came over to Solar Plastics in a sales position, right? And now you're the boss. And I know my dad, he worked for the county highway department. So he plowed roads in the winter and fixed them in the summer, right? And him and his co-workers, let's say there's 20 people doing that, their supervisor retires, my dad gets a promotion.
Sure.
He's a supervisor of his buddies.
Okay.
Right? That was a little rough go for like the first year, you know?
The old friend becomes boss situation.
Yeah. Did you experience any of that in your new role here that took place a couple of years ago?
Not really. It happened after the transition when the company was sold. So we went from family owned to being acquired by ATEC companies, which is what's celebrating their 75th anniversary is the ATEC Corporation based in Eden Prairie, and they own a number of different manufacturing businesses. So that was kind of when it was from family run to then being professionally owned and run, and that's when the opportunity came to be. So there was certainly some turnover at that point. I think those I've worked with, whether I supervise them or we're peers, I think I take a really collaborative approach to solving problems and working on things. So I don't know that it really changed things a lot. You'll have to ask Rick, our VP of Engineering. He's still with me from pre-transition. A lot of the team has turned over also after the sale.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of just the next evolution of our growth and kind of the investments in professionalizing the business, I would say, from being kind of a small family-owned business, being part of a larger company, really putting in systems, making more investments, really raising the bar on our quality, on our safety, just on everything we did. It all had to come up a notch. And so for everybody to kind of rise to those challenges, and we had a lot of people who did and some people who chose not to, and we had some new people come in, but today we have a really great and seasoned leadership team.
When you're talking about the way you lead, and you're not like I said, the dictator, you're wanting feedback, you're wanting to collaborate with the other people and come up with the best way to do things. It reminds me of a book, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Have you read that book?
I have not.
Okay. He's a ex-Navy SEAL, and the book is all about, applying military leadership in today's business world. And that's one thing that he really drove home is the fact, man, you don't have all the answers. Right? And don't act like you do, because people will see right through that.
Yeah. The story I've told, I probably shouldn't tell on camera because he'll get a big head when he hears this, but my little brother, who's 3.5 years younger than me, he's like wicked smart. Like not like normal smart, like off the edge of the IQ curve smart.
Yeah.
And probably when I was, 8 years old or so, I had a realization that my little brother was smarter than me. And that's a sobering idea. Yeah, he already, at a very young age, it was clear he was smarter than I was. And that's a sobering idea that your little brother's a lot smarter than you.
Stab.
And I really think it shaped kind of how I've gone through life and business in that, my starting position is there are people a lot smarter than me.
Yeah.
And so I need to find how to get the best of them, how to leverage them, how to look for answers.
Yeah.
Some people who they think they know the answer, kind of my base paradigm is I probably don't know the answer.
Yeah.
There's people kind of out there, and to this day, he's still smarter than me. I'm bigger than him, but he's smarter than me. So
all right.
it worked out okay.
You're probably better looking than him.
I don't know about that. But, yeah.
What's he doing? Is he like Elon Musk's right-hand man?
No, he does huge M&A deals for KPMG with large corporations buying and selling and all sorts of things that really smart people do.
I just seen a meme on Facebook. It was a picture of Elon Musk, and it said, "I didn't go to Harvard, but a lot of the people that work for me did."
There's some truth to that.
Yeah. You got to know your strengths and weaknesses and hire towards your weakness, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the acquisition took place a couple years ago, and it sounds like, I don't know, maybe you're just being nice and maybe you're on camera, but was it all positive changes, once the acquisition took place? And is that when a lot of the growth took place?
No, so we've done about half of that growth happened before the acquisition, but we have had significant growth since then as well. Okay. Nothing's ever all roses. I mean, there was a lot of growing pains that I think, were happening before the acquisition, after the acquisition. I think without the backing of ATEC, I think we wouldn't have had the resources to kind of get over some of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any time there's a change, there's challenges. But I would say having my time at LDI and have acquired companies, I saw some that went well, some that didn't go well. I was involved in a number of acquisitions.
Yeah.
It went pretty well. I mean, all things considered, I don't have any big scar stories that come to mind. Yeah, it was pretty good.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the things you guys make here. I know there's a bunch of stuff behind us, and I've seen a lot of Yeti Coolers being made, right? So, yeah, can you talk about...
So yes, we have the two businesses. So on the solar plastic side, that's our contract manufacturing side. So that's where we actually mold the parts.
Okay.
And everything we do on that, those are to a customer's exact specifications. So we talk about our quality policy. Our quality policy is whatever the customer's quality expectations are, right? So we're building and designing a tool or a mold to their specification to make a part only for them.
Yeah.
So whether it be a cooler, whether it be a fuel tank, whether it be a roof for an ATV, whatever those parts might be, it is for that specific customer to their exact specifications.
Okay.
So that's that part of the business.
Yeah.
So we make parts here. We have another plant in Iowa. And yeah, really it's whatever they need. So demand goes up and down based on what they need. So kind of as a sales guy, I can't offer a promotion, to 2-for-1 tanks doesn't help sell more combines, right? They're only going to make the number of combines they're making, right? So we can't really control what the demand is once we win the project. We can try to win more projects, but yeah, so we'll make all sorts of parts. Like I said, we'll do a lot in the ag, construction, off-road vehicles, bulk storage tanks, things of that nature are kind of some of the products we make. Things we don't make but are commonly rotomolded, like kayaks. That's a big rotomolded part. So some of our, not really competitors, because that's more where their niche is, but we'll make a lot of kayaks. I think someone JoJo was true up, the best-selling car of all time is rotomolded. It's that red with the yellow roof kids toy car that the kids drive. That's a rotomolded part.
Okay.
And so those are some of the things that would be rotomolded, which we were talking earlier, but kind of rotomold is a niche way of making plastic. So blow molding, injection molding, much more common, a lot bigger businesses usually. Rotomolding is more of a niche way. Usually you're looking for more of a heavy duty type of a part, may have difficult geometry, generally lower volume in terms of parts made, it's a little slower. So that's kind of where rotomolding fits in the world of how would you fabricate plastic.
Yeah.
And then our fluid all side of the business, we're selling bulk solutions for fluid and handling management. So if you go to your car dealership, if you're in a factory or a large farm, there'll be a big wall of tanks with pumps and reels and all the different fuels, lubricants, oils are going to use for their equipment. So fluid all sells the systems. So it's what is that system already ready to go, so you can just come in and drop off your bulk delivery of fluids and keep your operation running. So Solar will make some of the parts for Fluid All, as well as Fluid All designs and sources a lot of other type of parts. And then they create these kind of kits or full solutions for those customers. So they want to buy, whereas Solar was going to sell in truckload quantity with long lead times of custom parts. Fluid All, someone calls us, hey, I'm opening my new dealership next week, and I haven't ordered my tanks yet because that's like the last on my list of things when you're building a new car dealership. And I need 6 of them with these pumps and reels and these requirements, and we stock everything and we'll say, yep, we'll ship that tomorrow. So that's more of where that business model is.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, so
that
a lot
has
of
your name on it, has Fluid All.
Yeah, and so Fluid All is its own proprietary line of products.
Okay.
So those are our two halves of our business. A lot of synergies between the two. And,
You mentioned winning a bid, right? And I anticipate that's a pretty big piece of your business and growth. I mean, I'm picturing myself, giving Yeti a call and say, hey, I want to make your coolers. Let's talk. I mean, but I'm sure that's not the way it goes. What's this winning bid process like? And did you do some of that when you came in on the sales side of the business? Yeah,
so early on, so what we were really trying to grow is figuring out, okay, are we winning or losing? So when I first started, we did a lot of analysis. Okay, here's all the stuff we're quoting. We had a very low win rate, and then why we're winning. And it turns out, we were probably winning. The stuff we were winning was probably stuff we didn't want because we didn't really know how to price it well or how to, some of that sophistication. It's like, we probably underpriced this really tough thing. And
we won.
And this one we really should have won. We probably priced that too high and lost. So a lot of analysis and okay, what were we winning and losing and why and what does that mean and did a lot of that. And saw things where, with new customers, the reason is usually, well, you're just priced too high. With existing customers, often, they have now already seen our value, and so they understand maybe we're not the lowest cost, but in overall value and what we're going to do for them, they've already experienced it. They're saying, okay, I could maybe go to this other guy and save a couple nickels on this part, but it's not worth it. Right. And so I think that those are some of the things we learned and really helped to accelerate our growth. It's complicated. They're engineered parts, but it's not the same way, in some of my old roles where we had our own product line, our own catalogs, and, you were really doing a lot of bidding on some of these big projects. You need this part, here's the volume, how do we make it? It's really leveraging a lot of our engineers, because as you saw on the machines, you could mount the part different ways, making sure you're using the right materials, and not everyone may spec things the same way. So again, that really gets to the technical aspect of, can we think of the best way to make this part to get the level of quality at the best overall cost for our customer. So that's where we I believe have more engineers relative to our size than a lot of our competitors. I think those are some of the investments we make that set us apart from some of the other players in the market.
Cool. And I think, did you call it rotary molding?
Roto, as in rotational molding. So the parts rotate.
Yeah.
Or roto molding for sure.
Roto molding. Okay. And I'm going to put this in simple English for the listeners, and let me know if I do it any disjustice. So imagine a miniature carnival ride that, turns you this way and spins you another way on the x-axis and y-axis or whatever, right? Not kind of like the zipper, but also going in the other direction too, right? And but rather than people in cages that are getting spun upside down and left to right, you have molds that you also call tools.
Right? We do those terms interchangeably.
Yeah, molds on there, and the mold you'll pour, say, I don't know, plastic pellets in it, or I don't know what you call it.
We use a resin.
A resin.
And depending what the part is, may depend on the type of resin. So there's different materials.
Is it liquid form or is it?
No, so we use a powder. There are other processes that use liquid. We use a powder.
Okay, so you plastic powder.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Inside the mold, and then the whole carnival ride with a bunch of molds on it goes into a heater, right? Yep. And it starts rotating and heating up, and it gets in all the corners and crevices. It's kind of a slow moving process, and then it goes to a cooler, and it goes to another cooler, and then it comes out a couple hours later or so, depending on the product, right? And then it gets the cooler or whatever, take it out of the mold, send it down the line, and then there's some assembly and trimming and polishing and making it look right, and then putting pieces together. Sound about right?
You're hired. We have openings on all shifts.
That's right. Right, let's mention that, all right? So, it's a common theme, man. It's really hard to find workers right now, right? And what are you looking to hire? How many are you looking to hire? Can you give us an idea?
Well, the battle for talent has always been there. I think it feels like we're moving into an era where it's really, it's even getting tougher, right? I think more people are retiring than are starting working, and I think after the pandemic, maybe people are just rethinking what do they want to do with their lives, and what does that mean? And so I don't know. I don't know what it means yet, but I feel like there's some seismic shift in kind of work in general that we're about to experience. I don't know yet, but we talk about that a lot internally. What do we think that's going to mean? So
I think people want to work from home. So if you can try to figure that out.
Which I understand. I don't know how that plays out on the assembly line, but if we can figure that out, that'll be a big.
That would be a game chaser.
No, but I mean, I just had a meeting with our HR group this morning. We're hiring in both plants on all shifts and operational roles. We have roles open in maintenance, in shipping, and engineering. I mean, we've got openings, and we're being really aggressive in terms of upping our compensation and trying to make sure the best overall benefit package. And what else can we do to become an employer of choice? Because this is hard work. This is not, there are easier ways. There are physically easier ways to do things. And so I think. That's important, but I think there's also the right kind of person, right? Because there's also the employee who will be bored sitting at the machine just pushing the button,
Yeah.
you know, once every X number of minutes and try not to fall asleep. So I think there absolutely is. We try to recruit people who like that more active way of working.
Yeah.
You know, we use a company called Worksite Right for both internal to help people make sure injury reduction, or if you get hurt, to help you.
Yeah.
But they also do some pre-screening to make sure, are you the type of person who is going to be successful in a more physical environment?
Right.
Because some of the jobs are more physical.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just came to me, man. I got the answer.
Okay.
Your employment problems are going to be solved from this point forward.
Okay.
It's going to require a slight name change. We're going to change it from Solar Plastics to Solar Plastics and CrossFit.
Okay.
All right. We're going to take some before and after pictures
Yeah.
of the fat employee coming through the door, and then 6 months later, they're going to be ripped and jacked. Right? So it's like, you're going to get paid
Yeah.
to work out and get ripped. Yeah?
I thought you were going to say you're going to charge a membership fee.
We can do that too.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, they'll pay you to work
Yeah,
out.
we have a lot of creative ideas of recruiting employees, so I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let me know how it goes. What's the future look like? Have you got any big plans on the
Yeah,
horizon?
so we have a lot of a growth teed up. A few things actually, unfortunately, not at liberty to share yet.
Yeah,
but
all
we'll
right.
be announcing later this year.
All right.
As we continue to expand and grow.
Cool.
But yeah, we're definitely, our growth trajectory has been significant, and we don't see any reason that it's stopping anytime soon.
Yeah,
There's
you've grown a lot.
Yeah,
In the last 7
yeah.
years since you've been here.
Yeah, and
You're
there's
like a
a lot
lucky
of-
charm, maybe.
I don't know about that, but we have some really great opportunities. We have some great, you know, large customers that we work with that they've also grown, right? And I
Okay.
think because we've served them well, we've continued to have more and more opportunities.
Okay.
And so that's been great. But yeah, there's I don't know. This may be my sales background. There's always growth opportunities
Yeah,
out there, and
yeah.
just how do you find them? How do you
You
have
have
to
enough.
cultivate them?
Abundance mindset, not a
Yes,
scarcity mindset.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's important.
How do we do more? I think that's what I like. How do we do more? How do we sell more? How do we grow? How do we expand? That's what I like to do. That's what gets me excited to come to work in the morning.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, if somebody wants to have any questions for you, or
Sure.
if they want to come work at Solar Plastics and CrossFit,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, I'm sure on both our websites, solarplastics.com and fluidall.com, there's probably contact information. If somebody
Yeah.
saw this and wanted to reach out to me directly, you'd find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect with people there. And yeah, whether it be if you need us to make some parts, or you need a system, or looking for a great place to work, we love to connect.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time, Sam.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. I see big things in your future.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Appreciate it.